Well, either it's very early on a Monday morning, October 24th, and we're going to talk some basketball. This is generally going to be a video about college basketball and what I have planned when the college basketball season starts November 7th. It's a very interesting file, and we'll get to it in a second. The reason why we're looking at NBA is I just wanted to do the nice transition. I built the NBA algorithm off of the college basketball algorithm in about an hour and a half more than that, a few more hours it took me to do it last year, the first time I built the NBA algorithm, and it worked instantly. And it did stuff like it does tonight, which is games that are above 10% margin, it only loses one of them. And the Lakers had some injuries, actually. Their injury report got better, I guess, when I finalized it, but they were even lower than this originally, I think. Um, Everybody else wins. Two underdogs win. Jazz win. Suns win. It just does this as a sports better. You see the reliability. I keep using the word reliable. The basketball files, they are reliable. So I just wanted to point it out because like, I mean, what's our record now? 30-13. And when you do margins above 10%, where the percent margin is above 0.1, we are 19-2. It is a 90% win percentage on those games. That's the kind of crazy stuff you see in basketball. So now that's being said, college basketball. Well, it's an enormous undertaking, is what it is. It does take not that long to update every day. However, to really use it to its potential and to analyze the injury report appropriately, um, and to change different percentages of weights and stuff during different parts of the season when different stats matter is an art form, and it's complicated and it takes time. So this is one of those where, I mean, I'd say this is probably the only algorithm that I, if I was a greedier person and had a different outlook on life, I wouldn't release this one to the public and I would just use it myself and probably crush life with it. Instead, instead I put it out there, and a week or two after the start of the season and I get this thing tuned, fine-tuned, it basically emulates exactly what the odds makers say, unfortunately. And it's probably because the odds makers use it. But there's this weird period at the very beginning of the season where teams have changed. Kids have graduated, new kids are there, right? And new coaches and all kinds of stuff. And strength of schedules are all off and stats are all screwy. And there is a way to maneuver it by putting the correct players in there and grabbing current stats like right away after like game two, like after everybody plays two games, which takes a while. You can start using current stats, but you can start using current player stats, and you can start mixing up a lot of stuff, and you can get an advantage. All right. So, long story short about what I'm doing for this. So I'm putting this up as a pre-order and a subscription for November, and I'm going to be sending emails every day with all the picks. And we had a Google sheet last year where we would update scores, and I'm going to do the Google sheet again for the month of November. But I'm only doing this for November. That's it. And then you got to be on your own updating it yourself with RotoWire. I'm not doing it every day. It gets to be way, 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 way too much. And because you can see I do a lot of other things, and I have a whole payroll and tax thing that starts over the end of the year and into next year, and I cannot be doing basketball every day. So I'm going to do it for November, though, all the way up till November 30th. If you want to get on that list, it is $150 right now. And every time I sell one of those subscriptions, one of the pre-orders subscriptions here for the month of November, I'm going to raise it $5 because I want to give it to almost a more limited number of people. I do not want to have hundreds of people on an email list for this because I get questions because there's so much that can be done with it, and it just becomes an undertaking. Everything becomes an undertaking. So I'm putting it out there now. You'll get a copy of the file as I'm working with it, and as I'm updating it, you'll get a copy of last year's file here to see how it's constructed. And it has an area where you can simulate other games. We can put teams here, and whatever two teams we put here, I believe it will simulate them. If we pull the power strength up, now we need to do combination. We can do a formula for that. But point is you can simulate all kinds of stuff, and then we can start working with the player stat sheet and see this monster, this beast. It's like the NBA file, but bigger and more, and it has a more interesting standings area here. And strength of schedule is really interesting at the beginning of the year because nobody really knows what the strength of schedule numbers are and whether or not they're accurate. So what happens is we started adjusting different variables here and kind of look around the strength of schedule and the ratings, which are not really accurate early on. They're a mess. And we looked more at like raw points and margins of victory and stuff. And so we changed it around. And what it did a couple years ago, and I'm searching for this video. There's another screen I have up here. I have a file where I try to keep all my videos and categorize them. I have so many videos, too many videos. We're getting into like 2,000 videos. It's unbelievable. And I was like, well, how many college basketball videos do we have? The answer is about 197. And I was looking for a video because there's a video I did, and this is before the games. I put a video out very early in the season. I think it was 2 years ago. Or at least the first time I did it. The algorithm kicked out, a bunch of underdogs like it does in the very beginning. So this is the college basketball algorithm. So right here. So the college basketball algorithm kicks out stuff right here and has a ton of different picks, and it'll have a ton of different stuff in order, and it has a home bump for when the team is home to push their margin up a little bit. It does a lot of different interesting things. But what's funny is so at the beginning of the year, one of these days, the first day there was a Saturday with 80 games or something, 60 games or something crazy, right? They have a ton of games sometimes. Sometimes they'll have over 100 games, I think, on a Saturday. So this one day, I sorted them all by all the underdogs. And I showed what it was, and I was like, well, these are all the underdogs because it's early in the year, and sometimes the algorithm is better than the odds makers early in the year because it's using more current stats, because it was the middle of the season or something. Point is the top 8 underdogs won. Okay. I mean, underdogs. Like, if you look at a day that has a lot of games in it, I'll show you what that looks like. Because there aren't a ton of underdogs. Oh yeah, I guess I wasn't keeping a ton of history in here. Yeah, keeping history in this file is nuts. Point is I had a bunch of underdogs up here. It paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, like over $100,000 to one or something on the parlay. So if you did a round robin with those 8 underdogs, you made an absolute fortune. You could buy a house. Nobody did it, but it was one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh. I go, oh yeah, I forgot that before the odds makers get a hold of this thing is so unbelievably valuable before they can adjust to it, that I was like, you should just keep it and you should just use it for the first month of the season and make a fortune and then give it to everybody. But I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person who just would rather show the world this is the nice way of logically doing things, and it works, and then everyone adopts it, and then all the lines suck. And I apologize for ruining college basketball for all sports bettors because all the lines suck because of me. And it's a conceited thing to say, and you might think I'm crazy, but I'm not, because watch the first couple days when the odds makers don't have the algorithm yet, and then watch what happens when it crushes them with underdogs the first couple weeks, and then watch all the odds form exactly to what the algorithm does immediately thereafter, and that will be the proof. So because there's so many games that you can't lie about that. Like it's if you tried randomly put lines on teams, you would nowhere come near to what the actual lines are unless you're doing something right and predicting it, and that's what this does. So all that being said, I'm offering the subscription, and I'm raising the price every time somebody buys it because it's a ton of work, but it's going to be awesome, and you'll get a hold of it before I do videos. Definitely that I'm not showing these videos before the first week or 2 of games. We will keep this to those who subscribe, and maybe I'll do some recap videos to show you how we did. But you don't get to see the projections unless you pay for it, because it's going to affect the lines the more people I sell this to. And I just want to show you how awesome this thing is. And the reason why I started with NBA is because NBA is awesome and continues to be awesome. Like when are the odds makers going to catch up with us, right? With about the Jazz and the Suns and San Antonio too, it looks like. Maybe they'll catch up next week. I don't know. You'll see. But Utah's going to stop having 260 lines and winning all the time because the odds makers are eventually going to catch on. They're going to keep winning. All right. So good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning. If you want the least expensive subscription for November for the college basketball algorithm, then you should buy it as soon as possible because it's going to keep going up every time somebody does. All right. Good luck, everybody. May all your picks be winning.